Our next guest has been diverting some ships. Rolf Habben Jansen is the CEO of Hapag-Lloyd and joins us now. Rolf, thanks for being with us.
Thank you. You're welcome.
All right, so we hear the Ever Given is finally on the move in the Suez Canal, but hundreds of ships have been waiting and stuck given this situation over the past almost week. How has this impacted your company?
Well, of course, it's impacting us because we have also up to 10 ships waiting, and then we have a couple also sent around Cape of Good Hope. And that's, of course, only the short-term impact because now we need to make sure that we get things going as quickly as possible again, and then hopefully not face too much congestion as we start to unload the ships in Europe and Asia.
How long do you think it's going to take to move past this bottleneck?
Difficult to estimate. I think the canal is very optimistic right now. I think they are estimating that they can resolve this traffic jam within 4 to 6 days. If they would be able to do that, that I think would be a fantastic achievement. I think we're counting on the fact that it may take a couple days more.
Rolf, I guess, the question we've been asking for days now is, does there need to be a rethink of logistics through the canal? Can this happen again? Or was this just a particular set of circumstances that led to a very rough outcome?
I think that remains to be seen. I mean, people will need to investigate what really happened. I mean, in fairness, we have 19,000 ships, I think, going through the canal every year. That's gone without any major incident for a very long time, so I don't think we should jump to conclusions there. But, of course, a thorough investigation is definitely needed to understand what possibly needs to be done to ensure that this can't happen again.
All right. I assume you do not think this has any long-term implications for the percentage or share of freight that is seaborne?
No, I don't expect that. I mean, one would expect that over the upcoming couple of weeks the situation will normalize, and yes, it will take some time before all the ships are back into their original positions and before all the boxes get back to Asia, but that's unfortunately, that's what these things take some time to get resolved because it is, after all, a disruption of anywhere between 7 and 14 days.
I realize, Rolf, that this is a finite situation and now, hopefully perhaps we're through the worst of it. But then you take this and you couple it with what we've already seen globally in terms of supply chain issues, container shortages, ports that are overrun with gridlock. Certainly here in the U.S., the West Coast has been in focus, for example. How would you assess, I guess, the global shipping landscape in general right now and how easy or difficult it is to move goods around?
Well, the situation is definitely difficult. I mean, in the second half of last year, we saw a totally unexpected surge in demand, and then combine that with quite a lot of COVID-related restrictions in many countries. And then, of course, you have a recipe for quite some congestion in the supply chain. On the other hand, if you take a step back, the global shipping industry last year has still managed to ship almost as many containers as they did the year before, despite the world facing a pandemic. So it's certainly not all bad. And when you look especially at the fourth quarter, we moved actually more than we did in 2019, and pretty much every available ship was sailing.
That puts it in context. What's the outlook for rates, for shipping rates, whether it's because of this situation in the canal or because of the fact that the global economy is coming back to life, especially when you start to factor something like insurance into it?
I don't know. It's always very difficult to predict. I would always hope that we could get back to a somewhat more normal situation than we have seen over the past couple of quarters. We are working very hard to make sure we come back to some kind of normalcy, hopefully towards the end of the second quarter, beginning of the third quarter, and then one would also hope that the market also normalizes.
All right. Rolf Habben Jansen, thank you for joining us today.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.